Good evening, folks, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. It's episode 169, and the episodes are flying by. The months are flying by, and we're fast approaching the end of the season. But there's heaps to do, heaps to cover before that happens. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight. I'll be with you over the next 60 minutes or so, and then we've got a jam-packed show tonight. Over the weekend, I managed to jump out and catch up with all three of the city's VPL coaches, North Geelong Warriors' STUART BEGG, Geelong Soccer Club's ANTE MORIC, and Geelong Galaxy's RYAN HORROCKS. So a little bit after the news desk, we'll be catching up with all of those three coaches. Also, we're catching up with a very talented young lady who started her junior career at Barwon Heads before moving to North Geelong Warriors, and then moved up to the NTC program and is now at South Melbourne with the NPLW. And just recently, she was involved in the Emerging Matildas Championships up in Sydney in the under-16s. And this week, along with another girl from Geelong, Hannah Skotnica, SIENA GILL is going up to Brisbane to take part in the School Sports Australia Football Championships this week. We catch up with SIENA, and it's an interesting conversation where she had the interview in her car and on the way to training, and we'll be talking to her a little bit later on in the show. As I said, lots to get through tonight, heaps to get through. We're going to take a short commercial break, and a big shout out to all of our sponsors, especially our major sponsor, the Gordon. We've got some fantastic business advertising sponsors. Our main sponsors, Curva Coaching and Just Turf, InstaTurf, and as well as that, we've also joined tonight by our business advertising sponsor, Harcourts North Geelong, and our newest business advertising sponsor, Geelong Galvanizing. So big shout out and a big thank you to all of those sponsors that have sponsored us, not just tonight and this year, but over the last 7 seasons.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Yes, and we start this week's news desk like we do every week with the VPLW and VPL2 roundup. In VPL2, we had, that's fixtures for next week. We're looking at the results. There we go. North Geelong Warriors defeated Nunawading City 2-1. Sonny Brimmer and Lachlan McGrath scoring. Wasn't an easy game. It was a difficult one, in fact, but the Warriors managed to get the win and not only secure promotion to next season's VPL1 competition, so a swift return back to the higher division. But they've also maintained their 5-point buffer at the top over Eltham Redbacks, and with 3 rounds to go, they certainly are looking good to take the league title as well. At the other end of the table, Geelong Soccer Club suffered a major blow in their battles to avoid relegation, going down to Whittlesea United 1-0 at home. And they've got a massive game coming up this weekend It's going to be a huge game, and we'll hear all about that with when we speak to Geelong coach ANTE MORIC a little bit later on in the show. They're coming up against Boroondara Eagles, who are at the moment second last, a real six-pointer. Geelong Galaxy yesterday defeated Melbourne University, who were previously fifth placed. Goals by Beth Coppe, Tamia Grosvenor, and Emily Sutcliffe made sure that Galaxy took the points against Melbourne University, and they were able to somewhat alleviate the problems that they have in their own relegation battles, if you like. Okay, let's looking at the fixtures for this week. Pascoe Vale, which is the bottom side, hosts North Geelong Warriors at Hoskin Reserve. That game kicks off at 6 p.m. this Saturday. Geelong Soccer Club, who are in 11th position. Now, they're fourth last, but only 1 point separates them from second last place Boroondara Eagles, and indeed the bottom place team as well. So it's going to be very interesting, this competition, no doubt. This game kicks off at 6 p.m. here at Stead Park. Please, everyone get out there, support the boys in red and black. It's an important game. It's, in my opinion, the game of the season for the Lions, and they need every bit of support that they can get this Saturday night, 6 p.m. Geelong Galaxy, who are in 10th position, travel to 7th placed Banyule City, and that game at Banyule Flats Reserve on Sunday, kicking off at 3 p.m. Let's have a look at the well, just actually before we move on to the state leagues, let's have a look at the ladder there of the VPL2 division. And as you can see, it is so tight down the bottom. You've got Pascoe Vale, Boroondara, and Nunawading City all on 23 points. Geelong on 24, Werribee City on 25, Whittlesea on 26. So it's super, super close. That look, anything can happen, and from game to game, hour to hour, as the live ladder changes, so much can change there. Okay, let's have a look at the men's state league competition on the weekend. The results, round 13. So we've got 6 games to go after this. In fact, 5 games, 5 rounds to go. Coria went down to Banyule City 3-0. Geelong Rangers went down to FC Strathmore 4-1 with Aidan D'Andrea scoring the only goal there. Surf Coast, an important win over Brunswick Zebras. 3-0 win, Sam Bickett, Anthony Thomas and Christian Mann scoring for the Coasters. They maintained their 3-point gap over third-placed Sunbury, who also had another good win and are in fine form. So at the moment, the Coasters have got a slightly better goal difference, or a lot better goal difference than Sunbury in third, but they've only got 3 points buffer, so every game is like a grand final. Now, a lot of interest happening in State 4. Bell Park defeated Westside Strikers, a very, very close game. Lucas Rabagliati and Andrew Palmieri scoring, and from all accounts, Oliver Di Domenico stopped a last-minute penalty, and that could have been the end of the season for Bell Park, who are in second position, but they're 4 points behind Balmoral with the game in hand. Lara United at home defeated Keilor Wolves 2-1. Woomjock Jock scoring 1 goal and Kai Fletcher another. Deakin Ducks went down to Point Cook 1-3. Marcus Lindeberg scoring the only goal of the game. And Barwon came up against the bottom side West Point and drew 3-3. Cooper McCormack, Aleo Basilio back in action, scoring, and Zach Niedzwidzki scoring as well. Ocean Grove couldn't do it against Maidstone United at home, and even a freak goal by Lockie Mikak, who scored basically straight from the corner, wasn't enough to give the Ocean Grove side a victory there. Let's move along to the fixtures for this weekend. Round 18, Coria travels to 8th placed Western Suburbs. Geelong hosts 9th placed Western Eagles, and basically the Rangers, if they want to get their season on track, if they want to rescue anything from their campaign this year, this is the game they need to win. Surf Coast travels to 6th place Bundoora United, and it's going to be a tough game, and as we said, the Coasters need to win every one of their games. Now get this, in State League 4, all of the Geelong teams, this is quite rare, are playing all of their games away from home this weekend. Lara United travels to Melbourne City, so it's 8th versus 9th there. Bell Park travels to Melton Phoenix, second versus third there, very close, must-win games for both those teams. Deakin Ducks in 11th travel to 5th place Westside Strikers. Going to be a tough game that for the Ducks. And look at this. They don't get tougher than this. 10th place Barwon taking on top team Balmoral. Barwon could do their crosstown rivals Bell Park a huge favour by taking some points off the rampant league leaders at the moment. Ocean Grove at home, they were in third position, eyeing that second spot that would lead to a promotion, but it is quite a distant gap between second and third at the moment, but they'll be looking to defeat Tarneit United at home this weekend. In Women's State League 1 action, North Geelong Warriors scored the only goal of the game to defeat Altona City away, Lavina Wader scoring that goal. And this Saturday, the 7th place Warriors host 8th place Westgate at Alco Park in a standalone fixture, game kicking off at 3 p.m. Let's whiz through the results of the local league action played this weekend in the men's Division 1 and the women's Division 1. We don't know the score of the Deakin Ducks Surf Coast game. There's no score provided on the Football Geelong website. If you do know the result, pop it in the comments section. Golden Plains scored a good away win over Leopold. No win in the Bell Park Barwon game. And Armstrong United defeated Colac Otway Rovers by a resounding 5-1 scoreline. In the women's division, Deakin Ducks defeated Lara United 4-1. Surf Coast emphatically defeated Drysdale 6-0, and Ocean Grove ran out winners over Bell Park 3-1, with Barwon having a bye. There's the ladder after the completion of round 8 with a couple of games in hand. Golden Plains at the top, but Surf Coast breathing down their necks and 1 point behind, but a game in hand. Barwon and Bell Park making up the top 4. In the women's competition, it likewise an interesting battle for top spots. Surf Coast at the moment are on top with 18 points, but Barwon in second position with 16 points, just and one game in hand. So they're certainly well poised in that case there. Deakin Ducks and Lara United making up the top 4. Games being played this weekend. Let's have a look at the men's Division 1 competition first. Round 9, Leopold at home to Deakin Ducks, Armstrong United at home to Golden Plains, Surf Coast hosting the Bell Park, and finally Barwon at home to Cellar Dwellers Colac Otway Rovers. In the women's competition, Division 1 games all being played on Saturday. Lara United at home to Barwon, Bell Park at home to Surf Coast, and Drysdale taking on Deakin Ducks at the Drysdale Sporting Precinct. Ocean Grove has the bye. Now, there's a girls' composite team set to travel to Singapore in the off-season in late October to take part in the Singer Cup, which is a well-known competition for juniors. And we're going to be speaking to the coach behind this composite team. It's basically an initiative from the Barwon Heads Football Club, and there's girls from Ocean Grove Soccer Club as well as the Golden Plains involved in this. And we'll be speaking to Mark Smith either next week or the week after about this interesting and certainly what I'm hearing, innovative project that is possibly going to open up the door for more teams to be taking part in this annual tournament in years to come. The Geelong Rangers are having a charity round in late August, on August the 30th, up at Myers Reserve. There's all the information there. Do go to the Geelong Rangers Facebook page for more information. And during the week, it was North Geelong Warriors announced that one of their players, a Japanese import, Namiki Yamamoto, has suffered a serious injury and is out of pocket. A ruptured Achilles. Now, it's a devastating setback, as the Warriors say on their Facebook page, for a player who's given so much to the squad this year. But unfortunately, she doesn't have insurance coverage in Australia. Not even Football Australia's insurance extends to overseas players. And because she doesn't have Medicare, she isn't able to supposedly go through the Australian public health system. and this means now she faces all the costs of surgery, hospital care, and basic living expenses on her own. So the Warriors have set up a GoFundMe page there /6A828F52. So go to the North Geelong Warriors Facebook page for all that information. Now, things might not be doing too well at Deakin, but on the weekend they had cause for celebration because another player has hit the 300-game milestone, Pat Miletto. He played 187 games for Bell Park, and he's since then played 113 games at Deakin, and the Deakin Ducks congratulated and celebrated their club captain, in fact, Pat Miletto. So congratulations to Pat. Well done on 300 games. All right, folks, we're going to take a short break. When we return, it's time for our catch-up with all three of the VPL coaches, Stuart Begg from North Geelong, ANTE MORIC from Geelong, and RYAN HORROCKS from Galaxy. Geelong Galvanizing is a locally owned and operated company that is a leading provider of protective steel applications, including hot dip galvanizing, steel fabrication, painting, duplex coatings, and transport logistics. With a commitment to quality and efficiency, we deliver durable, high-performance solutions tailored to the needs of our clients across various industries. Our key capabilities include blast and paint, galvanizing, fabrication, accreditations and inspection services, transport and logistics. We offer end-to-end services from fabrication right through to delivery. For more information about what we can offer you, contact us on 5275 7555, visit our website at www.geelonggal.com.au, or pop in and see us at our factory at 360 Bacchus Marsh Road, Corio. Post-match with Stuart Begg, North Geelong Warriors coach. Mate, 2-1 result. How did you see today's game?
I've seen the game exactly how I thought it would pan out. You know, Not Wanting is a quality side. Obviously, they don't deserve to be where they are because they've got some great footballers and, they've had a great cup run. But it was a grind. It was a massive grind for the players. We stuck to a plan and we proceeded to take them on in a way that suited us. So very happy with the outcome today.
Yeah, and as you speak about their cup run, so they would have been very tight, but it didn't show. They were really, really, really tough, really tenacious. And, they're fighting for survival at the moment. So I guess if there ever was a good advertisement for promotion relegation in this country, it's VPL2 at the moment. But how difficult was it knowing that you're coming up against a team that really are fighting for survival?
Look, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, we spoke about our run and how the games are going to come for us. And every team we play against has got something to play for. So with that, we've got our process. We've got something to play for. And today we had promotion to play for. I didn't tell the players the score of the other game until after the game. So we made sure that we focused on what we had. But, Not Wanting were playing for survival and they played like it today.
Mm. The boys, though, they really showed character today, and I think that's probably the thing that really stood out. It wasn't an easy game. We knew it wasn't going to be it, but the character to really sort of take the lead early, but even in those last 10, 15 minutes was really tense. They really stood up, didn't they?
So, it's always a momentum thing. We went 2-0 up, and I thought we were going to be in cruise control after that. They got it. Dubious penalty, but that's football. And, when that happens, momentum swings, and they had that momentum, and we just had to stick to making sure they didn't get beyond us, and the boys did that. But yeah, it was a tough game, and the last 15 minutes was intense.
Well, Nunawading this week, Pascoe Vale next week, and then 2 tough games, Springvale and Brunswick Juventus.
Yep.
From the players' point of view, and you as a coach, I guess, have to manage this, is it easier or harder when you're playing teams that are A, fighting for survival, or B, fighting for promotion? Or is it much of a muchness?
Honestly, I think probably when you play teams fighting for survival is probably harder because they just work that little bit harder in those moments. But fighting for promotion, I know what we're like when we're fighting for something, when we want to win games and do well. So I don't know, much of a muchness, and I mean, like I said, VPL2 is the league, and if you look at the bottom, I think the bottom teams to like 9th or even 7th, there's like 2 or 3 points between them, and then the top there was a couple of points between them as well. So it's just tough.
Yeah. And this week on the training track, as I said, Pascoe Vale next week, bottom side. On paper it's an easy game, but as you said, it's not an easy game. How do you approach it this week on the training track?
Oh, it's the cliche, isn't it? We look at it the same way as we do every other week. We'll have a solid week of training and take them on like a team that's right behind us and not down the bottom, because we played Werribee last week and they took the game to us early on. Not a wanting, they're down the bottom. They took the game to us. I expect nothing less from Pascoe Vale. Again, they're fighting for survival. So the process will still stay the same. It won't change.
Yeah, and finally, a few of the players cramping towards the end. I mean, that obviously tells you just how much full on it is at the moment. What do you do, like player management wise, at this time of year when it's you can't rest players? I mean, there's so much at stake. Yet players may be yearning for a little bit of a rest. But what do you do? How do you do that with training and the management of injuries and things like that?
The thing is, at this time of the year, it's they are fit. We just got to keep the legs moving, and they'll those who needs a rest or need to have a lighter load, we'll make sure we manage that. But the players cramping just shows you how hard they're working. So they're working hard because they're trying to stop Nunawading and the way they move the ball around. But ground was a bit hard tonight, so probably a bit of a factor. But yeah, that's we manage them week by week, and sometimes day by day.
Well, 5 points buffer at the top with 3 rounds to go. Mate, we wish you all the very best, and you're doing a great job, and the boys are doing an incredible job as well.
Cheers, thank you.
With the ball, without the ball, we had a couple of good chances. We did all right. We didn't finish them. Okay, they come here. It's a tough game. So disappointed that we didn't maybe put a goal away in the first half, but never really said, you know what, we can't win this game. It was always about being positive at halftime, which we were. Came out in the second half, and I just thought that, to be honest, it looked like we ran out a little bit of legs. Bruno, one of our Brazilian visas, had to be changed at halftime as he was walking out onto the field due to I think he got a smash in the kidney or the lower region around that part. So he couldn't go, and then we have to make a decision, and that's hard. You're walking out, you're thinking that you're going to have your proper 11 on, and then you've got to make a change. So I thought that we weren't ourselves in the second half, and credit to Whittlesea. I think they held their weight all game.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if ever there was an advertisement for promotion relegation in this country, I think what is happening right now at VPL2 is exactly that. I don't know who's more desperate to win, teams up the top fighting for promotion, fighting to win the title, or teams down the bottom. It's so close down the bottom. And I guess their tactics on the field and off the field show that desperation clearly. And did you think that, and as part of the game, did you think that was some of the tactics that they did to try and really put you guys off, and particularly the younger blokes, because it seemed to work in their favour?
Yeah, good point. We spoke about them. Yeah, they were coming here with confidence as well. A good game against Brunswick the week before, and we know Brunswick's a solid side, in the top 3, top 4. But we'd never go against what we want to do, and tonight's, what tonight showed, I think a lot of people, these sort of games, down the bottom, what does it mean? I mean, as a coach, I can tell you what I feel, but ultimately the instructions are given to the group, and they got to go out. And I thought they were better in moments, their desperation. They had numbers always around our key players. That's the sign of a good team that's come here and disciplined. That's where I thought we were a bit disappointing, because in the second half we allowed them to get moments where they shouldn't have got, and they got them and put us on the back foot. So the desperation by them, the entire game was fantastic. I just thought that we lacked that in the second half. We were very good in the first half, just couldn't get the goal.
Now, the people most hurting after this, obviously, are the coaches and the supporters, but also the players. Now, their confidence is shot at a time like this. Now, you're as a coach, you're a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a life coach, and everything in between. What do you say to them afterwards to try and regain, or get them to regain that confidence? Because ahead is a big, big week.
It's a big week. Look, Taunchy, it's a super question, and it's it's easy for me to answer. I said to him after the game, it's not the time to talk now. We always get in a huddle after the game. Win, lose or draw, doesn't matter. I just said to him, to be honest, my words were, I'm disappointed. But yeah, effort was good. That's what I said to him. I just got to be strong. Our coaching staff's got to be strong. We've got to be positive. We've got a good side. When we play well, we play well. Unfortunately, we make little mistakes that led to the goal, a header on the halfway that should have been cleared, gone out for a throw, or up the park the other way. It skinned off the guy's head and landed straight at a player. It's just a little bit unlucky. I'm not about luck and whatever, but I just felt, fell to them, where were we? So we weren't positioned right, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm a little bit disappointed, So I just got to be positive. It's still in our hands. We've got 3 games to go, 2 at home. We've got Boroondara, tough game next weekend at home.
Let's talk about that, because that's the 6-pointer. It's a cliche in football, but it really is a 6-pointer. And this is a game that you clearly have destiny in your own hands.
We do. Hope you haven't put a mocker on us. It means to us what it's going to mean to them. So we need to find a way to be better than tonight, okay? We're at home. We should be using this place as a 12th man. I just feel at times we're just a little bit sceptical here. We're a little bit just not ourselves. I mentioned that to the boys. We got to find our best. 3 games to go in our hands. We get the results. We stay. You don't get the results. Everybody knows what happens after that.
Well, 3 games to go. Boroondara, second last at the moment. Then we've got, I think it's Altona City mid-table. And then the tough one, Eltham at home, who are kind of probably fighting for promotion. Or come that time, they may well have secured it.
Yeah,
are they all equally tough, or is one of those 3, the bottom, the middle, or the top, going to be really, really tough?
Look, I think the toughest game is the one you just mentioned, Boroondara, 6-pointer. I feel that's the one that sets the tone for the last 2 games. Disappointingly, I say this, but we've been better at away this season than we have been at home. And I'm not putting a mocker on us. I think Boroondara, it's a must-win game. If I've got to talk like that, that's how I'll talk. It's a must-win game. I think that the players have to understand that too. You know what I mean? It's easy saying, yeah, next week, but it's a must-win game. So I think that's the hardest out of the 3 that we've got. Altona City will be difficult away from home. They're finding momentum. But we sort of find a way against these better teams. Not that Boroondara is not a good team. And Eltham on the last day, it could fall down to the last day. But everything's in our hands. That's the beauty about it. 2 at home, 1 away from home. You know what? Let's see. If we play the way we did in the first half, we connect, but we play for 90 minutes, Taunchy, we'll get results. But I just thought we were a little bit flat in the second half, and we just didn't get enough from maybe some of our key players in the attacking third, which, I can say is disappointing, but they tried, but just the execution wasn't right tonight.
Yeah. Well, game of the season, in my opinion, I think in a lot of people's opinions, next week, Saturday night, 6 p.m. at Stead Park. I'm calling on the entire Geelong football community to turn up here and support and be that 12th man that you say. But, mate, to you and to the boys and to everyone at the club, at the Geelong Soccer Club, good luck for this weekend coming.
Taunchy, thank you. I appreciate it. And let's see. We can only hope and pray. Thanks, mate.
We're speaking with RYAN HORROCKS, the head coach of the Geelong Galaxy VPLW senior women's team. RYAN, what a game that was. A great win over the previously fifth place Melbourne University, 3-2. How did you see the game?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we knew we could do all season against all the clubs. We've been at that level for a couple of months now. We pushed Gillor Park to the 92nd minute last week, and that's a team that's confirmed their promotion to NPL. So we know the level we're at. We like to think we should be that team in 5th, really, and pushing for a final spot. That's not where we're at this year. We've just got to pull our socks up and do the job to avoid relegation, so we can do what we're supposed to do next year, which is play finals football, get promoted.
What do you put down to the big turnaround today? Like, there's been some inconsistent performances in the last few weeks, but today was a real turnaround. Heavy track, conditions were pretty hard there, but the girls really turned it on. What do you put it down to that improved performance, if you like?
Yeah, only one more of mine is on the heavy track, which will be good for the girls because it is getting a bit boggy out there. But it's just mentality. The whole time it's mentality. It's about a belief that, that we can achieve whatever we want to achieve if we put in effort. Yeah, it's not just enough to be good and anything like that. You've actually got to go out there and do the job. And And on the flip of that, if you choose not to do the job, you'll be held accountable, and it'll be really clear that it's you that's made that mistake. People will be able to see that, your teammates will be able to see that, and you're letting them down and you're letting yourself down. We've got 3 really key focuses for the back end of the season that all tie together, and it all relates back to effort. So I like to think that effort in some way has resonated with everyone. And for these last 2 weeks, I know we only got the result this week, but we've seen that effort now for the last 2 weeks. And if we continue to do that, it's an old adage, but no one will touch us. So.
And when you kind of look at the squad itself, it's starting to develop into a good blend of experience and youthful enthusiasm as well. How important are some of the more senior players to the I guess the further development of some of those young kids starting to come up through the ranks?
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to add, if you're late in your career, relegation onto your CV, right? So they're the ones teaching them about how effort and commitment and endeavour can do enough to win football games sometimes. But they're also the ones that are holding them to account for their extra fitness that they've got and the technical ability that they have got and can achieve. And if they can continue to motivate them, then, we build as a better squad as a whole. So we stop playing tennis and stop playing as individuals and start playing team sport, which includes, everyone looking after each other, not just the older to the younger. Sometimes it's nice when it goes the other way around as well. So.
You spoke of motivation. How do you motivate the girls when things aren't going too well? What are some of the tactics or strategies that you employ to get their confidence back up on the level that makes them combative, that makes them competitive, that makes them ready to go out there for the win?
I think it's a reality check. I think for too long we kind of put our heads in the sand a little bit and ignored the fact that results weren't going our way and kind of just kept sticking to the plan and going, it'll work. And at some point we just kind of had a reality check and we all looked each other in the eye and said, and used the R word, right? We hadn't used the relegation word until 2 weeks ago. I know people were thinking it. We kept thinking we're good enough to not even be in that conversation. But the reality kicked in. We're in the position we're in. So we had to use it and be really honest and vulnerable with each other and, use it almost as a threat, I guess, not from any person to person, but just collectively as a fact, right? The fact of the matter is if we finish second bottom because we don't win every single week, then we will be relegated. And it's not just a collective we, it's you as individuals as well. You will all be relegated. So, it's not a full fear factor, but sometimes that's enough as well to go, I can't have that and I need to win every single 50-50 and every minute of every game I need to dominate.
How have you found the season so far? Looking back on it, first year in the VPLW for yourself, from a personal point of view, how have you found the challenge of coaching at this level? Has it been something that's really, really excited you throughout? Or have you found sometimes the lows can be quite low?
Yeah, I mean, you see the bags under my eyes, right? No. I mean, the girls are incredible because they've got a certain level of experience, right? That you don't see at other levels, which means they've got some good football brains, they've got some good ideas, and that can be challenging in that they'll challenge you as well. I think it's really important that you don't take it on as a personal challenging and more of a collaboration of ideas and a sharing of ideas until we find what's right for us as a group. But yeah, I think on a personal note, I've really embraced the challenge and enjoyed it. It's probably not how I thought it would go, but that's a good eye-opener. And
in a sense, what do you mean? Like, if you can disclose?
Oh, the results, I suppose.
Okay,
Like I think we had some phenomenal performances against your Avondales and Keilor Parks, and then we've lost to a lot of mid-table teams, and we've drawn games here 0-0 on the back of 30 shots and just haven't been able to find the back of the net for whatever reason. But then we've also had games where we just weren't in it, despite the fact that man for man or player for player, we're probably better. So, that's a challenge I wasn't anticipating. I probably expected or was too complacent sometimes. I went into it and went, no, well, we're better on the park, so we'll win the game. And that's not how football is, particularly at this level. So I've enjoyed that aspect of the challenge. And I think, if we keep working hard enough and survive, which we should, that'll put us in a really good position next year.
Yeah. And speaking of next year, have you kind of got a commitment to coach next year? Is it something you'd like to do?
It's something I'm very interested in doing. Look, ultimately that decision's going to lie with the club. Who could blame a club, right? When you're in a relegation battle, you can make whatever decision you've got to make. But I feel really confident and comfortable that I've got the backing of this really great committee as well, and the club as a whole to keep at it and keep doing what I'm doing. So it's something I'm looking forward to do next year, and I'm hoping that they still see me as the man for the job.
And at what point do you kind of start to have one eye on next season and start to look at, these are the players I might need, these are the players I might need to talk to, like when do we start blooding a couple of youngsters? At what point do you kind of try, or do you kind of just leave that for season's end?
It's a hard one. Ideally it's now, right? But, we're not mathematically safe yet, so we could be talking to someone about State League One, which is not something that's on our radar that we want to do. But the reality is we need to just focus on the here and now. It would be great if we could start to forward think a little bit. But, until we're safe in VPL for next year, then we can't go having those conversations. So hopefully in 3 weeks' time.
Just Turfing Instant Turf is a local family-owned and operated company which guarantees top quality products and service. Whether you need turf for a small front garden or a large landscaping project, Just Turfing Instant Turf are the turf installer experts you can trust. They supply and install for most major landscapers in Melbourne and Geelong, with a wide range of premium instant turf and a full suite of turf care products. Chloe and the team at Just Turfing are sure to have all your turf needs covered. Their Melbourne, Geelong and Victorian regional distribution means they can supply your area with fresh cut turf installed the same day, hassle-free. Turf options that are available include Eureka Kikuyu, Santa Ana, Tiff Tuff, Sir Walter Buffalo and Sir Grange. For more information, contact either Chloe on 0431 571 558 or Josh on 0457 174 111. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and our next guest tonight, she's another one of the many, many budding young talents we've got in this fantastic region. She was just at the recent Emerging Matildas tournament up in Sydney, and she's worked her way up from kicking the ball around, mucking around in a very, very junior social setup many, many years ago to now actually playing, NPLW football and working her way up to representing Victoria, both at the Emerging Matildas a couple of weeks ago, and this week the School Sports Australia tournament is being held up in Brisbane. And we just caught up with a local girl who's part of the Victorian under-18 team, SIENA GILL. And we welcome SIENA to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. SIENA, good evening or good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, geez, in such a short time, you've achieved so much with your football, which is fantastic to see. But it had to start somewhere. And how did you fall in love with it, or how did you start with the sport? Let's talk about that first.
Well, I think as growing up through my childhood, I've been really involved in lots of sports around Bowen Heads, and I was sort of just getting involved with all the local clubs, came across soccer. It was a really great atmosphere. I loved my coach, Mr. Phillips, who was also my art teacher at primary school. So he really kind of developed me from when I was from 5 years old in prep. So that was probably the start of it all, and I just kept playing. It sort of just felt really natural to me, unlike some other sports that I was playing, but I just loved it straight away, and that's just what I wanted to be doing.
Now, one of the big problems they say here in Australia is that the junior coaches don't allow players to be creative enough, and they sort of stick them rigidly in positions, or they go for the results. Now, being an art teacher, was he a creative soul that allowed you to flourish your creativity on the field?
Well, I definitely remember there was some rules, no, Mr. Big Toe. That was definitely the so no kicking it with your big toe. It was always the side of your foot and the flat part. But otherwise, it was great fun. He was such a funny guy. Yeah. I just remember it was lots of fun and creative drills, of course.
Yeah. Now, you said off air you actually started doing Little Kickers as well, which is a really good program around town and has been running around, being held around for a while with Robbie Krasick and his lovely wife Marissa. Was that kind of where you really started falling in love with the sport? Because knowing Robbie, he makes it really enjoyable and fun for the little tackers.
Yeah, that's definitely how it was. I remember there was so many kids doing it. It was like a real, what was it, Thursday night maybe? Lots of parents around and older siblings. It was just cones dribbling in and out. Lots of having fun with my friends. But obviously I was like really little, so I didn't quite like know that this was like where I was gonna like end up. So yeah.
Yeah, so Boneheads down there at Boneheads, a great club too, by the way. You started your football, and it eventually led to you being picked in the Geelong Country Championship squads. Is that right? And how did that sort of situate? And at what
Yes.
age was that?
Well, it was sort of around the year of COVID. I think one of the years got cancelled, so I wasn't able to do that, but that might have been year 5. But then when I was in year 6, so I was 12 years old, I got selected for it again. And that was held in Geelong. And so I remember, a couple of girls went to nationals with me just last week from that team. So lots of chemistry there. And my coach Ivan was from Geelong Rangers, so that was like also pretty good. And
So what age group was that? Sorry, what age group was that?
It must have been under 12s, or under 13s.
Yeah,
or maybe under 14s.
It all blurs into one.
It was I was bottom age then, so it must have
And
been
is that
under
where you
14s.
kind of got that taste for playing representative football, and you thought, okay, I want to take this a bit more serious. I want to challenge myself and see where it can take me.
Yeah, it was definitely the beginning of like realizing I have to step up and like perform for who I'm representing. And the presentation of the shirt presentation was at my like school that I was going to next year, so my high school, and I was like, oh, this is a big opportunity to like step up and have represented in like a fancy place that I thought, because I was like in year 6.
Yep. And that was at Cardinia, and like they make a big deal of it. It's fantastic, isn't it? And did you feel really important? Did you feel kind of, wow, this is kind of like a step to another level, and I really now want to go to another level? What was that kind of that thing that triggered that, or was it something else that kind of made you want to? Was it some, an idol, a footballing idol, either locally or internationally, that kind of, I want to kind of go now to the next level and take it a bit more seriously?
Yeah. I think I was playing a lot with the boys in year 6, so I was playing for the Boneheads under 13 boys at that time, and it was definitely a lot of wanting to be better than them, wanting to get more game time than them. And I was also quite a big tomboy at that point, and I was like idolizing like Sam Kerr, and I was so obsessed with soccer at that point. So I definitely it was definitely a turning point when I realized, oh, this could actually like I could be like her one day.
Yeah. Awesome. And what was then the next step?
The next step, actually in year 7, because I was too old to play under 13 boys or with boys at all. I was just too old, which I did not agree with, and I was very upset by that. Anyways, I ended up moving to the under 20s. So actually, no, it wasn't under 20s. It was the senior women's at Boneheads, because there wasn't an under 18s team for me at that point, or like anything lower than that, or that might have been what I wanted to do. So I moved to the seniors, and I was like 12, I think, and so that was quite a big step up. A lot of my family friends who were like older than me, obviously, were playing in that team, and I kind of just followed along with that. And
how'd you find it? Like at first, was it intimidating? Grown women and adult women, and you're a 12-year-old coming up, or was it that, once again, was it that little feeling I can prove it to them, I can show them, type of thing?
Yeah, there was definitely some like apprehension. I had no idea the big bodies I was gonna come up against, but I did feel a bit of like respect from other players, which was like very I was grateful for, because it helped me fit in with the team a lot. But because I was so young,
are you talking teammates, or you're talking about respect also from opposition players as well?
Probably not opposition players. They just wanted to like get the ball and not be like shown up by a 12-year-old. No, definitely. It was probably also because we were like family friends. They were like so nice to me, and it was really good.
Excellent.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
It was, yeah, really good.
Excellent. So at the age of 12, you've tasted senior football, which is not uncommon in the women's game, but you know it's not also common at the same time. But you've kind of there. Okay, that's it. Barwon Heads, a senior. You've played in the senior competition locally. Then decided to make a switch, quite an ambitious switch, across town from one end of Geelong, effectively, right to the other end of Geelong, up to the north, to North Geelong.
Yeah, that was quite, I think that was the turning point of all my traveling. From then, I literally, like before that, I literally just rode my bike to training every night, and it was really local. And then straight across the other side of Melbourne, I mean, not Melbourne, Geelong, sorry, staying at school after, just waiting for training. And then I feel like I'd known some of the girls from Country Champs who were in that team, so I felt like I wasn't just coming straight into, like I didn't know anyone. So that was always good, and it was nice to know that I had someone to like look out for me as soon as I moved clubs. But I also love meeting new people, so going to another club and meeting new people was really good for my soccer as well.
And the standard-wise, now you're playing against girls that are kind of a little bit more your age, but at the same time they're at another level, I guess, playing up in Melbourne, etc. How did you find that? How did you find the transition now from playing sort of a kind of a social, local element to now playing a little bit more competitive, a little bit more ambitious, a little bit more, you know, I'm sure there are girls now that have gone on to NPL level and JG NPL level, etc. How did you find that transition? Were you thriving in it, or was that a little bit daunting at first?
I think I was very ready for it. I'd kind of been building my way up for the few years before, so I think I was very ready for a change in like standard. So as soon as game, I think actually the first game I was a bit thrown off. I was playing on the right wing, and I remember the pressure on my feet was more like than I had before, but I was able to, I think my speed and I just tried to focus on that for the first couple of games, because that's what really got me around players. And then from there, it just more exposure to the intensity on my feet kind of built me from there. But I was definitely ready for the change.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've got some sort of bad picture quality, so you're a little bit blurring, but we can hear you, so we'll continue. We'll push on. Now, after North Geelong, if that wasn't bad enough travelling to the other side of Geelong, you decided to now move to playing in Melbourne, and you got picked up at the NTC, so that's Football Victoria's elite program for junior girls. So obviously training up in Melbourne, playing games up in Melbourne. How did you find the travel, first of all?
I feel like it was a very big step up. So that year in year 8, I had actually been in Europe for 3 months, so I was just chillaxing, taking it easy, and I came back from that to really hit the ground, like traveling up to Melbourne soccer like 4 times a week, and the travel was definitely a big part. It definitely became a big part of my life then, because I had not only, obviously it was Melbourne, and I literally a year or 2 before I'd just been riding my bike to training. So travel, it was really painful, and it still is, because it's definitely a barrier to me moving like to another club or like.
Yeah. And who copped it the most, mum or dad, or someone else in the travel department?
Everyone has been very encouraging of me doing soccer and seem pretty willing to drive.
Is anyone from Geelong that you carpool as well?
I have one girl in my South team at the moment is from Geelong, so I carpool, Hannah Bigmore. She's playing with me at South. And previously Tarzia and Lucy Simic, they played on my North Geelong team and country champs in Year 6, so carpool with them occasionally to training, especially in the lead up to the Nationals last week. But it's obviously helpful when maybe mum or dad wants to have a break.
Yeah.
So just go up with someone else, and it breaks it up a bit.
Yeah. You mentioned the Nationals. So, last week the Emerging Matildas was held up in Sydney, wasn't it? And you got chosen to play in the Victorian team. And how was that experience? So first, now you're travelling with the team interstate. You're flying there. You're staying in a hotel. You're staying as a team unit. Professionalism and that kind of level of professionalism has now gone to an entirely new level. How'd you find that?
That was extremely. I was honoured to be able to do that, especially representing Victoria everywhere we go with the badge. It just felt like a massive step up, if I'm being honest. I did go last year to Nationals, so entering this tournament last week felt like I was entering as more of a senior player, and I felt like I had that responsibility to pass that on to other girls who hadn't been before, like just sense of like belonging, but definitely wearing the Victorian badge everywhere we go was something that I will never forget.
Yeah. Now you're returned back to South. So you're at South Melbourne. Which team are you playing with at South Melbourne? Which is your home team, I suppose?
So I'm playing with the under-17s at the moment. Occasional trainings with the seniors, which is pretty daunting, but extremely good standard. I'm hoping to move to the 20s next year. So
fantastic, yeah. And how do you find? I mean, South Melbourne. Everyone knows South Melbourne is a big club, one of the biggest outside of the A League in many ways. And the men's team is going to become a part of the inaugural National Second Division, and the women obviously are heavyweights in the NPLW competition here in Victoria. How do you find the club? How do you find sort of? We've had quite a few Geelong girls playing at South Melbourne over the years, but how are you finding South Melbourne as a club?
I think that as of playing last year with like more of a program, it's definitely a different experience to move from that to like clubland, which is more family and it's more of a team vibe, less like competition, like trying to get to be the best, if you know what I'm saying. I found that it was slightly less intense than NTC was, which is, I think, coming off a year of that, it's actually like helped me like just recover a little bit and like see things through a new lens, because this is my second year of NPL, but first with like a real club, not a program. So it's been good to see like the standard also of not just the group of girls that just like picked from the whole of Victoria and just put together playing in an old age group. It's good to see like the standard of girls who come to like be selected and play in their own age group and not compete against each other, but competes against teams instead of just individuals.
Yeah, and it's great to see, and I guess that brings us to the next question. And this week's School Sports Australia competition up in Brisbane. You're with the Victorian under-18 team, and there's also another Geelong girl in that team.
Hannah, I think. Yep, Hannah. And
Hannah Skotnica, yep.
Yeah, I was talking to her the other day. I recognized her face from her twin, actually, and I didn't realize they were twins. So when she said like she wasn't who I thought she was, I was so like, oh, it's a clone. But it turns out I played with her twin when in North Geelong.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you've been following all these twins, the Simic twins, and now the Skotnica twins. Or they've been following you more likely. Yeah. But what are you hoping to get out of the School Sports Australia? Obviously, first place for Victoria, but the Brisbane. This is now another kind of experience interstate. Is it more fun? Do you think? Are you expecting it to be more intense than the Emerging Matildas being a higher age group, or do you think it's going to be a little bit more of a social thing because it's kind of more of a school type of environment than I guess state championships?
I definitely think that everyone is going to be just as competitive as it was last time. I feel a little bit more at ease, I have more responsibility from myself, organizing myself, because we're not staying all together, and I can go off and pick what food I want to eat, pick how I recover, and then come and try and perform my best. I feel like I'll be a bit more energetic and less tired, because obviously the energy of nationals was just with you all the time, because you were always with your team. So I'm really excited to see how I can manage myself in a tournament where it's not all together. And I'm hoping to first place, obviously, and I really want it to be fun and getting to know girls more this time.
Awesome. Well, before, I think that was your brother in the background waving. We could see him through the back there. So he's probably trying to distract you. Before it happens, we'll let you go. But thank you for coming on the show. Wish you all the best with the School Sports Australia tournament this week up in Brisbane. And we will certainly be looking forward to following you in the NPLW competition with South Melbourne. And who knows, you might be moving to a club that maybe one day might play an A-League game here in Geelong. So all the best with your future endeavours, Sienna. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Sienna Gill, another one of the many budding young junior stars here in Geelong. We're going to take a short break, and folks, when we return, we're going to continue with tonight's episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Joe Gergich.
And I'm Helena Fantella.
And welcome to our family here at Harcourts.
And that brings us to the end of tonight's program. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's show. Really appreciate you being a part of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Now, tonight is my last episode for about 4 weeks. I am going on a little bit of a holiday/work trip overseas. And whilst over there, I hope to, whilst in Europe actually, I hope to catch up with some Geelong expats and possibly even film something for the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. With that in mind, the next 2 episodes, so next week and the week after, will be pre-recorded. So there will be no news desk as such. Rather, we will have a more focusing on features and some very interesting guests coming up over the next few weeks. Next week, we are going to be catching up with Eddie Contell, councillor in the City of Greater Geelong Council, and also with Mike McKinstry, the chair of the Geelong Region Football Committee, or Football Geelong as it's known these days. And the big topic of discussion will be basically a roundtable discussion about the latest with regards to the Geelong football hub, or the regional football hub in this area as well. We'll also have another guest next week as well. And in a couple of weeks' time, we'll also have some more guests as well. I will be back live on August the 25th. So there is a lot of football getting around, out and about. And do keep an eye out on the socials from time to time. We will have all the latest news as well reposted on there. Until then, thank you, and thank you for being a part of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. We look forward to having your company next Monday night at 8 p.m. Bye-bye.